financing your next billion. Gain insights into successful engagements with venture capitalists and investors. Get ahead of industry trends, hear from industry leaders, influencers, founders, policymakers, and governments. Stay in the know on how to finance your next billion.
Welcome all of you, and thank you so much for tuning in with us live here on the show. We're back again. I'm Yvonne Gamble, and I'm co-host on the show. My co-host is Jerome Curry. How you doing today, Jerome?
Hey, it's a beautiful life. Thanks for joining us with the FYB show today, and we're so glad and so happy to have you here.
Okay, we're just going to jump right in. Today, we're talking about Business Success 360. And as you can see, this is part one. Business success is so huge for most companies that are out there. And especially the reason why we say that is by the time you get to us and you're looking for venture capital, you've generally been out there for a while. Although we do see a lot of people who are in startup phase, they're just getting started and they're coming to us looking for money. That sort of thing. So if you're one of those companies, either you have experience, you've been out there, or you're just new to business, you want to really understand what are all those different elements. What are those things that those sharks in that Shark Tank, and trust me, they are sharks in the Shark Tanks. Yes, they are. And some have a bigger bite than others. And but we want to help you with that. We want to get you set up for success. That's what we do. That's our niche at Sanpete Financial Group with Platform Capital. We do many things to help you. We got the Accelerator Hub and in the Platform Capital. We do the Financing Your Next Billion of Masterclasses. So there's a plethora of things that we offer that can help you, as well as coming to you live, streaming, and on your favorite social media outlet, just to let you know that, hey, we're here for you. So let's jump right in and let's see what we can actually talk about here that's really going to take you to that next level and put you in front of those venture capitalists. So believe in your entrepreneur vision and your business. You got to commit to it. You and your people, you got to commit to you. You got to commit to your people. You got to love what you do. And you have to be the best that you can be at it. Jerome, I know you got a lot around this subject that you can add to these people that's really going to help them out, because Jerome is in that happy spot where he sees our people when they first come in the door. That's where he sits, that the chair that sits, right at the door. As soon as people come in, he's the one that kind of catches all. So he's talking to a lot of you, right when you're first starting out, right when you're just so excited, what have you, and I'm probably the one sitting in the back room dashing your dreams and hopes. But Jerome, what can you tell our people?
Sure. I think it's one of the most critical points you're going to need in your business. It's amazing. You can tell the difference between those who really believe in what they do and those who don't. It's tangible. I mean, you can see the investment someone has when they really believe in their product, or when they really believe, what, hey, if this works, it doesn't, I'm fine with it. So there's that level of belief that you have to have when you're going into business. And believe me, going into business is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. There are many people that have started, and after the second or third week, they quit because they just could not handle the rigors of business, the changing in times, the industry norms. If you go through any successful business owner, most successful business owners have an incredible story of how they overcame hurdles, how they overcame obstacles. Walt Disney went bankrupt multiple times. Reed Hastings of Netflix nearly gave up multiple times. I mean, the story goes on and on. Google was almost sold. Believe it or not, Google was almost sold to Yahoo. I mean, they really
What?
were in the red. Did not know what they were going to do. And this is Google that we're talking about. Microsoft was started out of a basement. So you've got all of these entrepreneurs who had to have significant investment, significant belief in what they were doing, and commitment to their vision, commitment to their teams. They had team members that left. They had team members that quit. They had people that didn't believe. So there were a lot of different things that happened. And even those who had a significant advantage starting out, they still had hurdles to overcome. They still had things that they had to deal with. So what am I saying to you? That this is going to take a level of commitment. And a lot of times what entrepreneurs sometimes fail to do, we fail to count the cost of what is this really going to take. Have you really sat back and thought about, how expensive is this going to be? What is this going to cost me in terms of my life? What is this going to cost me in terms of family time? What is it going to cost me in terms of capital? And whatever your costs are, I assure you that more than likely it's going to be a little bit more than you were expecting. Because whatever dream you have, whether it's a big dream, a small dream, or no dream at all, it's going to cost you the same thing. It's going to cost you your life. So when you're looking at your dream and when you're looking at your entrepreneurial vision, you have to have a level of belief. You have to have a level of enthusiasm. You have to have a level of passion for it, because I promise you, if you do not have those things, more than likely you will wash out on the sides and you're not going to be able to outlast. And that's something that just, that I want to kind of tell you, is that there are going to be things that you're just going to have to outlast. You're going to have to outlast, some of the no's. You're going to have to outlast the feedback. You're going to have to outlast the raising capital. You're going to have to outlast employees not working out. You're going to have to outlast these things. However, when you outlast them, and when you increase the level of belief to where, no matter what happens, I'm not quitting this thing. I think I know what we have. I'm going to keep iterating and keep changing until we get better. Then you're on to something big.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's an excellent framework to put it in. And I would say the only thing I could add to that is reality. You have to set in place some reality check times, and you can't be you marry you have to be very careful about being married to the dream and the vision. You have to have a dream and a vision, but you have to realize that just as day turns into night, no 2 days are exactly the same. No 2 nights are exactly the same. And that's the same thing with your dreams and how you execute on them. So that means that you may have an idea in your mind of how you want to do it, but you need to bring in others. And that's what we're going to be talking about here with this, so that they can share your vision with you. And you're going to need to be able to listen with an open mind, and with, more importantly, an open heart as you go through. So we're going to talk about some of those things. And one of the main things that we're really going to talk about, and that is those shared values. And you want to let the values rule. So you want to basically, you don't just want to, write up a lot of people, you write your core values and then you put those on your PowerPoint presentation, and that's the last time you actually look at them. No, these values are things that you live by. Things that, hey, it could be, the death of an idea or a thought, but your values always, those you pick up out of the ashes, and you take your values with you into that next iteration. And like Jerome was saying, you want to find people who are competent and care about the company's business. Now, what did I say in that last part of that? Care about the company's business. I didn't say care about how much money the company's going to make, care about how much money the company is making. It cares about the business. It cares. You have to have people who care about what it is that you are doing. If you don't have that, if that's not there, if their wish and their desire is just simply looking at you and waiting for the paychecks to be handed out, that's not your team. That is not your team. Get rid of them and drop them faster than you would a bad habit. Because many times I know they use that, as an adage, but it's truly not. You need to stop that adage too, because people keep bad habits forever. You want to drop them like a hot potato. A hot potato is something you won't hang on to no matter what. So that's what you want to drop them if they are not focused with you on the business that you're doing, the work you're doing, the value that you're bringing beyond just simply how I'm going to line my pockets with money, because that's not the whole thing. And Jerome, he set it up very clearly for us and said, you are going to be giving up life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in order to bring this about. That's what Google had to give. That's what Google had to put through. That's what Disney had to do. You're going to make a lot of friends along the way. You're going to make more enemies along the way. You may even become a friend to yourself. You may even become an enemy to yourself. You're going to have to eat differently. You're going to have to think differently. You're going to have to act differently, walk differently, talk differently. All of these things, you're going to make a difference in your business and how in your business success and where you meet that success. But if you keep going, like Henry David Thoreau said, if you keep going in the direction of your dreams, you will meet with that success uncommon and in common hours. So you will meet with the success. It will come to you and will feel like it was overnight. That's why people say they became an overnight sensation, an overnight success. And they know it might have taken them 20, 30 years to get to that point. But the actual culmination of that happened literally in an instant, where everybody was like, aha, I get it. Aha, I get Disney. I get what they're trying to do. Aha, I get what Google is trying to do. And that's why someone continued to put money into them. Oh, I understand what this little raghead kid, building this computer in a garage, is doing. And this kid who wanted to take the phone and wanted to put a phone, in everybody's hands so people could talk to themselves across the mile. Okay, I get it. These are the types of things that you're going to have to, but you look at their stories. It's very important that you begin to read and that you build yourself a library of these types of stories. Those stories are not there to entertain you. Those stories are there to encourage you and to teach you and to help you to be able to get through with your own story and to go through it. And like, Jerome said, you will get there, but you got to keep going. You've got to keep going. Any thoughts that you have, Jerome, regarding, your values?
Absolutely. I look at this comment of find people, and it's so important because you think that you're going to find a whole bunch of people. And what I've learned throughout my entrepreneurial career, and what Yvonne can probably attest to as well, it's not a whole bunch of people. It's going to be like the Bible says, it's Peter, James, and John. It's going to be the select few. It's going to be a few people that are going to really help you to cultivate your company and really share the value, the passion, the willingness to go the distance. And what's going to happen is that as you're looking for these people, you just have to be you just have to be patient. And that's something that I had to learn, that I'm certain Yvonne had to learn, and that you as a business owner, you're going to have to learn. It's patience. And the thing, sometimes it just doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen that year. Sometimes it doesn't happen in that next 2 years. Sometimes it takes time. And getting that over to an entrepreneur who's on their last of the last leg, and they're like, if I don't get this, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, listen, you better know what's going to happen, because it's not, it may not come. And what you have to do, and this will kind of go into some of the things later on. But as you look at your values, you want to build in reserves so that you can allow the growth that's needed, that's going to happen over time. You can kind of grow into some things and allow yourself to have reserves.
Exactly. And that and then that talks, that speaks volumes when we talk about your capabilities
Yep.
that your company has. You definitely have to, and you have to build those in, those different things, so that they are there, and you basically want to shore those up, so that your competitors, you basically cannot be copied. You want to make yourself unique, but not so unique as having a model where you are not competitive with other people you collaborate with, but it's just something about you that is just slightly different. That's the very reason why. What makes, when you think about that, what makes Wendy's uniquely different from McDonald's, uniquely different from Burger King, or from Hardee's. They're all selling, basically, you can go into any one of the drive-ins, you're going to get a hamburger in there. But what's uniquely different about each one of those? And that's what you have to do. Jerome talked earlier, one of our earlier segments, when we were talking about the 5 examples. And, if you haven't looked at that episode, that's an episode that you want to pull down and take a look at that, when we talk about the 5 elements, of a business plan. And you talked about Chick-fil-A and what made them uniquely different. What they did was they basically were making chicken sandwiches and chicken nuggets and chicken strips. But they took that, and now they're world renowned. Everybody knows of Chick-fil-A. They know of Chick-fil-A not because of the chicken or because they ever tasted the chicken, but what do they know about Chick-fil-A? They know of them because of the service, the customer service. They took customer service and they made that their uniqueness. They made a decision. This is going to be our uniqueness. This is what's going to separate us apart from all the other chicken restaurants that are out there. And as we know, I'm not even going to start naming them, because it's just funny. I'm pretty sure that I'll leave most of them out. So, but that distinction, what is building, and synergizing your capabilities is so uniquely important. Would you agree, Jerome, or would you say?
Absolutely, I agree. And I want to just key on a word: synergize. I think that goes right in alignment with finding the people. And here's what I mean: when you're synergizing something, that means everybody is coming together on the same page. Let me tell you, there's nothing worse than you having 5 or 6 people and y'all are on completely different pages of the book. One person's at the beginning, one person's already at the end of the book, one person's in the middle, and you're like, guys, we have to, guys, gals, we have to come together and reason amongst one another and be on the exact same page, because once we're on the same page, we can go further together. But if we're all on different pages of where we want to be and where we need to be, then we cannot coexist. And so it's really challenging to have your company being built when everybody's on a different page than you. So what you want to do is, as you're building this and as you're synergizing, that's bringing people together and making sure they understand the play. So you should have written down, to make this more tangible to you, you should have written down on a very clean whiteboard during your quarter or doing your monthly meetings or doing your weekly meetings, this is the play. This is the goal. This is what we're going after this week. This is what we're focusing on. This is why we're doing this. We're looking to get to this revenue goal. We're looking to get to this milestone, and everybody is on the same page and everybody is speaking the same language. And then therefore what happens is you can go further in creating that distinctive capability. And that's, you
Okay.
know, that's really you know, kind of some of the things that you were hinting on there, Yvonne.
Your medical PPE supplier. Talk to our in-country distributors and get your PPE needs fulfilled. Sign up for recurring shipping to receive deep discounts and keep PPE inventory on hand at all times. We heard your requests and placed strategically located warehouses throughout countries near shipping ports to assure Mobamed PPE supplies are available when you need them.
Okay, that was a nice short break there. So we're going to dive in a little deeper here on this second part of the show that we're on. If you're just joining us, we're here on Business Success 360. This is part one, and we definitely want you to come back for part two. And now what we're actually focusing on is the care and the love that you want to give to your customers. And you really want to let them know that you care about them and you're not just simply there. You know, a lot of them are feeling, a lot of people are feeling, I know I've felt myself, that it's just a money grab and they really don't care what they give you. And a lot of businesses have kind of taken on an air that they want to get away from. I don't know why. You know, the customer is not right and the customer is going to try to take something from us. And so basically, you know, they kind of have the business that says they kind of are resting on policy. You know, you go to a business, oh, this is our policy. It's not our policy to do this. It's not our policy to do that. You know, they'll throw that up, or you say, you know, I want to speak to the manager. The manager comes in and just simply defends the customer service person, doesn't listen to what you're saying. What can you say? You know, how can we get away from this? Not only in, I know it sounds like I'm talking about specifically retail, but I'm not. You know, I'm talking about businesses across the board. How can we get out of this mindset as though the customer is here to take something from me when it's the customer who is actually making a difference that you have a business?
Absolutely. I think one of the things to really look at is, what are you investing in your team? When you did the assessment of your team and of your customers, who did you bring on that really understands the customer? Do they have a knowledge of who they are, what they've been through? Have they walked a mile in their shoes? You need someone on your team like that. You don't want to come to a venture capitalist or an investor and say, yeah, I've got this product, I've got this idea, it's going to be really great. And then they ask you, well, what experience do you have with your customers? Well, we don't, you know, no one on this team really knows who this customer is. You're not saying that, but when you don't have someone that's walked in that customer's shoes or really experienced the heartache of what it was. Perfect example. Let's say you're launching an HR based software, and you say, you know what, this is going to be the greatest human resources software ever, and it's going to do all these great things. And then they ask a simple question, well, tell us about your HR experience. Tell us about how's this really going to impact the customer. And you or someone on your team really can't speak to how the pain point of that customer, then you're not going to be able to win that deal. It's just bottom line. Because someone who really understands that customer's pain point, to say, listen, I've been in the office when we've been in the office for over 12 hours because of how we had to onboard new hires. This software will not only help us, but it'll also help us to streamline the bad candidates out that didn't get through our interview process. It's going to help us fill out paperwork so much more faster, which is going to make us more efficient. And then that way we can serve our employees on a better basis. Because happier employees come from a happier HR and human resources. When they're happier and they have time to do things, they have time to implement more trainings, they have time to do more things for the company and be forward thinking on how they can make the employees' time there better. So you see, what I just did was I didn't just say I have a product or an idea, because that doesn't matter. It's the customer behind that product or idea. And I think it always starts first with your customer and their pain points and what they're going through and what they're experiencing. And then out of that come the best types of products. And so really you have this thing of where people are just creating products just because, hey, you know what? It's my passion. Great. Who is it really helping? What are the pain points? And if you don't really address those, if you don't really take the time to get to really understand those pain points, you may get traction, you may get started, but you're going to have to come back to square one and say, who are we really helping? Why is this really important? And why? And the other question that you want to ask when you're looking at that customer centric business model is, why is this relevant to them now? Because I promise you that if it's not relevant to them now, then you're going to have a serious issue in scaling up your business. You may can do well in a small segment, but when it comes to scaling up your business, you're going to have a tough time. So the reason that companies are having this issue with customer service and understanding the customer and providing value is that because they have lost sight of the customer, and they're more focused on the profit, and they're more focused on the profit and the product. And they think that, you know what, if I can make a better product, that I can get more customers. But it's, how can I become really, really good to my customer, and my customer will in turn pay me an excellent premium, and then that way the model will continue to go and continue to grow. You have people that that have certain restaurants that they go to no matter what, because the customer service was so great. When you think about great eating experiences, what's the first thing that you won't believe how great the service was? I mean, I can tell you about some local restaurants that I've been to, and this is important, where the food was just great, but the service, my God, I'm like, I would have tears in my eyes eating the sandwich, because the sandwich would be so good, but the service would be so horrible. And eventually I would just say, you know what, I'm just not going to deal with it anymore. So
Right.
having that understanding that eventually you're just pushing this problem up the hill, and it's just going to become a bigger problem. And that's why that you have these issues coming up. You know, companies for years have just pushed this issue of, you know what, we're just going to keep pushing the product and keep trying to make a better product, when not having a focus on the customer. So I think they've lost focus on what's important.
And you're absolutely right there. And these are the types of things that, believe it or not, that have taken monolithic companies and have disbanded them. And many people think, oh, such as the breakup of AT&T, and they think, well, we did that simply because they were a monolith and nobody else was getting into the business, and that's true. But trust me, they had the idea that they didn't care. We were they were the telephone company, and any way we treat you, you just have to deal with it because we're the only game in town. Well, when more games came into town, now they do begin to bend over backwards, and they begin to look at do exactly what you said, focus on the customer. And I would say one little thing that you could possibly do to help you focus on the customer when you're doing your planning, your brainstorming sessions and what have you, you might want to take out from the thought and put on your vision board for that week or that month. Instead of sales, increasing our sales, we want to increase our customer satisfaction. That's really what you need to start doing. How can I actually, have more satisfied customers, and to what level? And you want to increase that level with your customers coming in. And if you really focus there, what you begin to do is you will build the business that is sustainable and that has staying power, as opposed to, having a business that is just simply, how many more sales can we get this month? Because you're not getting clients. Sales and getting good clients are two different things. We're not going to talk about that here. That'll be in another one of our shows that we hope you would tune in on. But I would say this, just understand that sales and clients are two totally different things. I can sell something to someone that I've never seen, but can I service? I service clients. And that's what keeps people coming back, and that's what makes them loyal to you. So what we're going to look at, and that kind of brings us, it segues us into the final topic for our Business Success 360 Part 1 show. And that is, you want to basically make innovation a part of your institution, a part of what you do. It is the norm that you want to have. You want to establish your culture that you actually are promoting from your business and your processes, so they support innovation. So they're always innovatively thinking, what can I do? Jerome talked about this, one of our other segments about, how can I continuously build, though that model so that I am continually improving my process, building cross-functional teams instead of having, somebody at the front of the process, at the second of the process, and at the end of the process, when everybody needs to be on one accord. What do I need to do? And that's not just on one accord in one department. That's on one accord throughout all your departments that you have. And how do I do a strategic alignment? I mean, Jerome, how can I align strategically with my resources and all my people and be innovative? How now? I've said a lot. How are they going to do all this?
Sure. Here's a really simple way to align all of this. It's called I like to call them a 15-minute brainstorming session. Here's how this works. You take 15 minutes of your monthly morning meeting, and all you do is talk about ideas of, hey, what can we do better? Hey, what's something, what have you been thinking about? What do you think about this process? What do you think about this? And you just have it set up in a very interesting way. You take a problem of the week. You can say, hey, this is the thing that we're going to talk about this week on brainstorming. And what I want to do during the session, I don't care how crazy it is. I don't care how wild it seems. Let's talk about what we're going to do differently and just have a list of ideas. And you know what? From that brainstorming session, from that session of just pouring out ideas, you and your talent. And that's the other thing. You see, this is a collaborative, and this is a comprehensive process. You get the people that share the values, that share what you're thinking. You get the people that you can build and then synergize around. You have that plan in place and everybody is on the same page. So if you've got all of those things in alignment, that all of those things that are in align, well, guess what's going to happen? When you have that brainstorming session, you're going to get some off the chain ideas and you're going to be like, wow, these are all the ideas. And you're going to put those ideas down. And here's the part that makes a difference. You're going to put them down. And if you can't execute on 10 of them, that's fine. If you can't execute on 5 of them, that's fine. Find one idea that you can put a small amount of spin around and say, listen, guys, you know what? I did the evaluation. Here's the idea that we can move forward with in the next 2 weeks. And then the rest of the ideas, you know what, guys, these are great ideas. What I want you to do, each person that came up with this idea, do a little bit of research, and we're going to keep this on our board. And then what you do, you come back every week and you literally have, and what's going to happen is you're literally going to have a library of ideas based on the team, based on the values. And what happens is now you can start allocating resources to the ideas that you have that have been researched, that you can get support around. And guess what? Now you're no longer this king on the hill or queen on the hill. You're now this round table that has different people that are invested. They're invested because they've got their ideas. They're invested because you're putting resources behind their ideas. And guess what? They can see that, you know what? Hey, my opportunity is coming up. My opportunity is coming up next. This could be my idea. And here's something else that you can do. Here's something else that you can do. Incentivize those new ideas. So when it comes up, this is how you can support innovation. You incentivize those new ideas. So when that person idea wins, guess what? They win too. So what happens is they're then encouraged to submit those winning ideas, and then they're encouraged to push those things out. And when you have that rolling, you've now institutionalized innovation, and now everybody is on the same page, and everybody's putting out ideas. And you no longer have this scenario where you have to come around and come out with the big guns, but you now have this roundtable of ideas that are literally coming organically into your organization.
Okay. Well, excellent. Well, that is you have gotten some very, very powerful ideas as far as what you can do and how you can do it. And so therefore that's the end of our show for today, talking about business success 360 part 1. And we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can actually there, we're on YouTube, VMO, on all of your other social media, and you will see us there. And we'd like you to tune in to our Business Success 360. We want you to tune in to our show on our Business Success 360 Part 2. And that way you can see some other topics that also go with this, because the Business Success 360 is a very large topic. So we wanted to break it up to make sure that you had a chance to kind of chunk it off and take small bites. And this is a taping type series that sits available out there. Come back to it. Come back to it several times. Come back to it with your full teams and take a look at it and make it a part of your library, a part of your learning systems, and tune in as often as you can, twice a week, to Financing Your Next Billion. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you. And most certainly, we would look forward to having you as a guest on our show. You can go out to www.sanpete Financial Group or www.platformcp.com. That's our platform capital group. And you can actually connect with us there. And we'd be happy to talk to you about coming on and being a guest on our show. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Financing your next $1 billion? Contact us to be a guest. Join us for the next show.